Okay, I think we can get started. People are not joining in anymore. That's quite normal. People tend to watch the recording instead. But I'm very happy having you guys here and sharing a little bit with you what is our passion, what is eButterfly, what we do, some of the uh, idea behind eButterfly. I'm going to talk to you a little bit of our history, how we started, where we are right now, where we are planning to go in the future, and of course, really quick walkthrough through most of our main features. As you will see, there are tons of features, there are tons of things to do. So it's going to be, it would be really unrealistic to show you all. But the idea is for you to have the basics of how to use it, how to explore it, and of course, as you just saw, just that I share my email, just you can generate questions and send them to me of if any um, question arises after this presentation. So so then I'll just introduce myself officially. My name is Rodrigo Solis. I am the Human Network and Data Coordinator for eButterfly. I've been doing this for almost 7 years now, and it's always still quite of an excitement doing this kind of events. Without any further ado, I'm just gonna start my presentation. Let's see if we can do this correctly. Yes, we can. Okay, perfect. So let's get started here. First, we expect this to take about 40 minutes, the most. But please feel free to share all your questions in the chat, and I'll be happy to answer them once this is done. We're going to have like a 20-minute Q&A session at the end. And again, if you have any questions after the fact, send them my way, and I'll be happy to answer them for you. So let's start with this. It's a brief introduction to the world of community science with eButterfly. So really quick, I already told you a little bit about that. The main objective today is for you to know what is eButterfly. Second, very important, why eButterfly? So as you'll see throughout the presentation, there are many people that's the first thing that they ask, right? Like, hey, I already use other platforms. Why should I use eButterfly? Isn't a bit redundant? So we're going to discuss a little bit about that. We're going to talk about the main features that we offer, how to upload an observation. That is like the central part of the webinar today. A little bit about identification, though it's not a webinar regarding identification, at least just the basics of it. And then we will have our Q&A session. So then let's just start with the first thing, like what is eButterfly? Let's just answer this question. So first and foremost, it's a community science platform. And if you see, every time that I refer to community science, I say community science. Maybe you've heard somewhere else that people refer to it as citizen science. That is one thing that we try to avoid, and that tells about what is our ethos, what is the way we think. You don't have to be a citizen to volunteer and to play part in the important part in these things. Just being part of the community. So we try to be as inclusive as possible, and that goes even with the way we talk about what we do. Second, we of course focus on conservation and reporting of butterflies worldwide, just butterflies. We don't focus on moths or any other type of insect, just butterflies. That gives us a very good opportunity to tailor all our offerings to a very specific set of requirements for people that watches butterflies. It's way different for people that maybe collects moths or any other type of organism. So that makes things a bit more personalized. So as I was saying, we have a very strong compromise with science democratization. So we try to be as inclusive as possible, hence community science instead of citizen science, and with education as well. So we do our best to have educational events, not only online as this one, though we do have a lot of them, but also we try to go to places that don't tend to be that exposed to community science. For example, just last year we were in Panama and Colombia. We're going to be in Mexico in September, and we have plans to go to Costa Rica as well. And not just to cities, but actually even to indigenous communities and things like that, because we want to expand the reach of conservation. So since this community is just focused in butterflies, that also gives us the opportunity to have a very close and personalized interactions with our users. I'm just openly giving you my email that you see there in the chat, and you can just get in touch with me, and I'll be happy to reply to you. I'm proud to say it, in maybe not more than 4 hours, you'll hear back from me, and we'll get you up back and running in no time. Finally, we have a very strong commitment with data accessibility. That is our paramount priority. So in the end, community science for conservation, it tries to conserve species, and you cannot wait for things to turn into action. Unfortunately, there are many platforms, many places that they are really happy to capture information from all their volunteers. But when it is time for them to take that information back to researchers or decision makers, they drag their feet quite a bit in actually sharing that information, or they don't share it completely, or they put any number of hoops in order to share it. We don't do that. We, as soon as we receive that information, less than 24 hours after, it is out there for any researcher, any decision maker, any person, just to access our full database and analyze and generate conservation measures as soon as possible. Now, a little bit of our history. We started in Canada in 2010, sorry, in Montreal. Then we expanded to the US in 2013 when we joined forces with the Vermont Center for Eco Studies. Then in 2019, we switched our most of our site, but especially we focus in our collaborative identification system. In 2021, we started using our AI-assisted identification feature, which, by the way, it is today it is the state-of-the-art best butterfly identification AI tool out there. Even compared to iNaturalist, we do perform better. So 2023, we expanded worldwide, and we already have more than 18,000 observations since then from outside of North America, which is where we started. And finally, just last year, we launched our mobile application that we're going to also explore a little bit about it later in the session. Now, okay, so we already answered that first question, what is eButterfly? Now let's go to this core question that I always get asked. Why eButterfly? Hey, I already report to iNaturalist. I already report to X, Y, and Z. Why should I report to eButterfly? Okay, first, let's talk about numbers. So I'm not going to read all these numbers to you, but that is basically our database currently. And what you can see on the right, that is our growth, how every year we've been receiving a steady number of observations. And just in 2024, what you can see, the stacked green bar, is when we started with our mobile app, how those numbers jumped thanks to that mobile app. This year, actually, we are moving in a really good direction, and we're going to break this record for quite a bit. So people want to use eButterfly. And why do they want to use eButterfly? Okay, so let's answer that question. Why eButterfly? And the first thing is that second bullet that you see there, checklists. That is our main, let's call it secret, is the secret sauce for making eButterfly a different platform from many other platforms out there. So what is a checklist? So in a more very simplistic way, it is just a package of observations. So let's try to land this a little bit with an example so you can know why is it that important to use checklists. So let's put this example. Let's say we are out there and in the field and we find this 5 butterflies, 4 monarchs and 1 blue emperor. So now that I found them, I have 2 options basically. I can submit it to any other platform, any other community science platform, or I can submit it to eButterfly. What is the difference? So let's assume that we submit it to, let's say, iNaturalist. Okay, and how do you submit it? Basically like this. I saw 4 monarchs, and I saw 1 blue emperor. That's it. Job's done. I already did my good deed of the day. That could be the first approach. The second is doing it via eButterfly using a checklist. And as I said, a checklist is a package. So you said I saw 4 monarchs and 1 blue emperor. But not only that, that package comes with a unit of effort. In this example, we are saying it's time, but it can be time, distance, area, or any other number of different units of effort. So the final package is I saw 4 monarchs and 1 blue emperor over 10 minutes. So why is it that important? Well, let's boil it down to an even simpler example. If I tell you that I ate 5 cookies, it is not the same if I ate those 5 cookies in 5 seconds or if I ate them in 5 hours. But with information from the route below, you would not be able to know if I ate them in 5 seconds or 5 hours or 5 days. There's not a unit of effort. But via the upper route, eButterfly, you do have that unit of effort. And that unit of effort is, again, our secret sauce that comes in that checklist. So in the end, that is gold for researchers. You can do a lot more conservation, a lot more depth analysis when you have that unit of effort than if you don't have it. So if you're already are out there in the field doing your work or doing your observations, why don't you just report that effort and in the end doing better for conservation? So that's what eButterfly offers. So I hope that explains a little bit how what is a checklist and why is it that important. We can discuss it during the Q&A. Now, the second big difference or big thing that eButterfly brings to the table is our identification system. This system is what we call the crowdsourced vetting, and it is not something new. It is not something that we invented. At least the crowdsourcing part. I'm going to explain that in a second. Actually, iNaturalist does it like that. It's just the entire community, each and every one of you, explores our database, and they just vote in what is the actual identity of a specific observation. So this is, again, is done by everyone. And this voting comes to being 2/3 or more of the voters agreeing on a certain ID. So that observation gets marked as, let's call it research grade. So if we have 3 people and 2 of them agree with a certain ID, then gets marked as research grade. But unlike iNaturalist, we have, well, sorry, before going to there, just as iNaturalist as well, I think they do it as well, those agreements can happen at different taxonomical levels. So maybe you don't agree on the actual species, but you agree with the genus or with the family. So it can mark as research grade at those different taxonomical levels. So that means that you can actually submit an observation with just like, oh, I know that is I don't know, a metal mark, but I don't know what kind of metal mark. I know there is a sulfur, but I don't know what kind of sulfur. Doesn't matter. In the end, people can agree that it is sulfur, but I don't know what it is, or they can actually start improving that idea. But unlike INET, what makes it different is that user votes carry varying weight based on their experience. And after the example that I'm going to show in a second, I'm going to go back to this last point, which is the most important, I would say. So let's go to this example, just really quick. And if you see all the examples that I give are about monarch, because that's what I work with the monarchs. So let's say that I go out in the field and I find this monarch. So I'm pretty sure most of you know about the taxonomical tree, how the species get, let's say, their name and last name. In this case, the monarch is Danaus plexippus, which is genus and species. But they have a whole family tree, like superfamily Papilonidae, family Nymphalidae, genus Danaus, and species Plexippus. So I go out in the field and I find this monarch and I submit it. But what happens in our system? If you see, this is my vote, this orange part, but I still need someone to agree with me. So in the meantime, while I'm waiting for someone to vote, it will get this yellow tag that says needs ID. So it is still on hold. But now let's say a second person comes and they say, oh yeah, that's right, that is a monarch. Vote, I agree. So it now these two votes are more than 2/3 of the voting. So it gets marked as identified. So what can be called a research grade. So we both are agreeing on that entire tree, the taxonomical tree, and that it is a monarch. But let's switch this example. And let's say that that person actually voted that it is a queen. So we know that the queen is also a Danaus, but it is not Danaus plexippus. It is Danaus gilipus, as you see in the image above. So that means that we are disagreeing on the species, but we are actually agreeing that it is a Danaus. So it gets marked at the level of genus as genus identified. So, and eventually, someone else could come and vote again on that. So how would that happen? Let's say a third person comes and they vote like, no, this is actually a monarch. So they vote, and now we have 3 votings. 2 of those say that it is a monarch. One says that it is a queen, so it gets upvoted again as identified at the species level as Danaus plexippus. That easy. So there's a quick summary of how all of this happens. And as we said, just going back to the previous slide, this crowdsource vetting, it is actually a multi-level crowdsource vetting. So that is the last bullet that I was telling you that I told you that I was going to come back to. So here, what we do in eButterfly, which is different to many other platforms that use also crowdsource vetting, is that we have different weight according to your experience within the site. Why? Because it is not the same someone that has been working with a certain species or with butterflies for 20 years than someone that just came in yesterday. But if you assume that their vote is worth the same, then you're not acknowledging that experience. But we do. We acknowledge the experience of people within our platform. And as you can see on the image here on the right, all of you, when you just sign up, you will get this little badge in green in the top left corner that says new. So that new will have, each time that they vote, it's going to be worth 1, and that's it. So the more activity you have within the site will move you towards, in this case, this second batch, guide. How do you move there? You need at least 100 identifications and at least 25 different species submitted. And now your vote is going to worth 2. And so on. If you see, expert is 3 votes and curator 4 votes. So if you see, curator is pretty hard to get there. You need 10,000 IDs and 250 species submitted. it's quite hard to get there, but we have a good number of curators actually just going around and vetting all our observations. So this actually gives a really good quality to the vetting of our database. Okay, so that's the main way we differ from any other community science platform. So now let's just jump right into how is the page organized. So once you go and type in your browser www.e-butterfly.org, you get to the site, and what do you see? Okay, so hopefully most of you have been already exploring the site, but if not, this is basically what you see. So, and what we are going to be discussing today is how to access the different sections within the site. And for that, we have basically two menus. The main menu, the one that you see on the top left, and the user menu, the one that you see on the top right. So how do I know what do they do? Okay, so you can visualize it as basically three ways of interacting within the site, or things that you can do. You can create data, you can explore data, and you can create a community, or explore a community. And each of these options give you access to these types of interaction. For example, for data creation, of course, which is the core of the site, is submit. Okay. And is the one that we're going to be exploring a little bit more in a second. Data creation as well, you have identify. So you're creating votings, or you're creating identifications. But you can also explore our huge database that we already have more than 600,000 observations, beautiful observations there. So to explore our database, you can click on explore. But also you can go to identify. If you see identify is in both data creation and data exploration. So in identify, you can explore all those observations that are yet to be identified by you. We also have projects. So projects, and any person can create a project. You just go there, click create new, and you can create a new project with very specific requirements. For example, I want just to see capture butterflies within, I think the last project that was created was butterflies in California. So you just say, I want to see butterflies in California, or I want to see butterflies just that happen in my municipality between this and this dates for a BioBlitz, for example. So you can create any number of projects there. We can talk more about that in a second. And then following on data creation, exploration, sorry, we have my eButterfly. If you see, that one is actually on the user menu. Here, this is my user name. So you will see this with your own username. So if you click on your username, you'll see a drop down that has these different options: my locations, my checklist, my observations, my identifications, and my projects. So all of those options basically give you the ability to access your stuff, your observations, your checklists, and just to see how you are growing over time, your live list. And now finally, for community, again, identify. If you see, identify is a really interesting place where you can create, explore, and network with people. Why? Because with identify, you are interacting with other people in how about identifications, and actually it's a really nice place to learn, because when you are when people are identifying observations, and let's say they identify one observation that you submitted, they tend to leave comments like, oh, I don't think this is a monarch, I think it is a queen, because just look at the blah 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 blah. So they leave a little comment there, and if you are identifying, I encourage you to do the same, just to leave a little comment, so you can keep learning from other people's experiences. Also projects, that is part of community growing as well. Why? Because again, if I'm just doing a project of my municipality here, well, I have a chance of just creating closer connections with those users. And very soon, actually, we are improving the projects feature So actually, you can have a personalized blog just for your project, which will improve the community setting of that. And finally, we have the forum. The discussion forum is a beautiful place where it is your space where you can post whatever you want, and you can explore thousands now of posts from different users regarding what we love, which is butterflies. So that is basically, oh, I'm sorry, I was forgetting about the alerts and messages. That's also on the user menu. So there you will receive notifications if people are interacting with your observations, but also you will receive messages like type of like an inbox of things that are happening within your account. For example, if someone shares a checklist with you, you will receive an email, an internal email asking you if you want to accept that checklist. Heads up, this section right now is under maintenance, so our developer is adding a few items there. So you might see it a bit laggy for the next few days. Just a heads up on there, but it's normal and expected. But okay, so let's just, again, this talk today is just about submit. So let's talk about submit, which is the most important part of the site, right? So how do you submit a checklist? Super easy, and it is not a chore. It is not unlike the most easy community platform out there. Basically, you have three questions. Where did you see it? How did you see it? And what did you see? Those are the three questions that you have to answer in order to submit a checklist. That is what we call step 1, step 2, and step 3. So how do they look? So now it's time to, and I'm going to stop sharing, to jump to the actual website and show it to you in action. So just give me one quick second. Put it here and let's share. There you go. So hopefully you can see my screen now. So here, the site, as we said, we have, I'm going to increase the size a little bit so you can see it better. There you go. So we have the user menu on your top right, main menu on the top left, and this third option, as you see, says submit. So let's submit a checklist. Click submit. So as we mentioned initially, there are basically three questions that you have to answer. Where did it happen? How did it happen? And what did it happen? So the first question is this one. Step 1, where? The location. And if you know how to use Google Maps, you know how to use this. So let's say, for example, that I found my checklist was in Stanley Park in Vancouver. So you just type Stanley Park, Vancouver, and it will zoom into the Stanley Park, Vancouver. And then here you can zoom in and maybe, oh, it was in this trail over here. I can click there. And if you see on the right side, it's already giving me all the latitude, longitude, country, province, state. You don't need to type any of that. It's automatic. And there you go. It's super easy. You can also do it just manually, right? So just from here, let's say that my checklist was in Victoria. So if I click in Victoria, again, it will drop a pin there. I can zoom in and just fine tune where did it happen. Let's say it happened here in Royal Athletic Park. Now, the idea of doing it like this, of selecting the location first, is because you want to create a location where you will come back as whenever you want to, but that same location. So you have to assign a name to it. If you see here, every time that you see this red asterisk, it means mandatory. So that is the only mandatory thing that you have to do here. Assign it a name, and it's a name for you, a name that you will remember and go back to. So let's put it just Royal Athletic Park. Perfect. Park. So if I put it this name in my live list, it will appear like that. And why is it important? Because if I want to go back to it and submit a new checklist on it, for example, next week, instead of doing this all over again, this is the second way of doing another way of accessing your locations. You click on this tab here, my recent locations. So here we'll show you the five most recent locations that you submitted to. But you can also start typing. For example, let's say, for example, this place that I went a couple of years ago, Moores State. You start typing the name that you assign to your location. You click on it, and there you go. It moves you to that location. Perfect. So some users sometimes have told me like, oh yeah, that is awesome. It's great. So I can go back to my old locations, but sometimes I don't remember the name of my old location. So how can I access it? Well, no problem. You can instead click on this, show my locations. So if you do it, it will show you all your locations in these green pins. So actually, if you see, if I zoom in, here it is, the one that I was already in, Moores State. It is here. And I can go to any of my locations. So let's say I went back to Moores State here in New Brunswick. So let's move to the next one. So already answered the first question, where did it happen? Perfect. Now, second step, how did it happen? Super easy and super important. This is where, let's say, where the magic happens. This is where the effort is reported, okay? And as we said, you can report it in different ways: time, area, distance. And those are these options that you see here on the right, on the left. So we have traveling survey, which is basically distance; area survey, which is walking in a certain area; point count is just stay in a certain place and just do it, count time there; time count, which is you're walking over a specific time, and so on. You can just check all of this. And if you see each of these that I click, the fields on the right change a little bit. So that is the effort that you need to fill in. So for example, time count, what is mandatory? Well, when did you see it? The date, the time. So let's say it happened at, I don't know, at 11 a.m. So the time and the duration, let's say it lasted 25 minutes. There you go. I already told the system how long it took me to eat those 5 cookies. So again, there are all of these different options. And, oh, well, sorry, and you have also to enter party size. That means how many people were with you, which that is important because 2 people see more than 1. And then actually the effort is doubled, but is halved, sorry. So let's say we were 2 people doing this, this survey. Now, just a really quick note here on your left. Ideally, you want to use this first 4. Those are the ones that give you more info, that give science more information. But if you're totally into just super simple things, just as INAT does it, you can do it as well. Incidental, it is basically the way INAT does it. It is just asking you for the date. It's the only mandatory thing. The rest is just like INAT. But please, as much as possible, don't do it, because again, that is not giving a lot of information for conservation. So let's just use a time count, which is what we already have here. Yeah, there you go. Now you can do some other things here. For example, remarks. You can put just here. It was windy. Temp was, I don't know, 18 Celsius, whatever. That is not mandatory, but feel free to type down as much as you like there. There are some people that are really, really into making a whole description here, and that's awesome. Thank you. And you can also share the checklist. For example, if I'm saying here 2 people were with me, I can create just this checklist and share it with that other person. So for example, let's say I went with Kent McFarland. So I just start typing his username, and there you go. I select it, and here he is. I'm not gonna be bugging him, so I'll just delete it. So, okay, that's it. Second step done. How did it happen? Now let's go to the nice part. What did you see? So for this, we use something that we call species cards. So the species cards, basically you open one card per species that you found. So going back to the example that I gave at the beginning, 5 monarchs and 1 blue emperor, I would open 2 cards, one for a monarch and one for a blue emperor. We said that I saw 4 monarchs. So you just type count, which is the number, and you just start typing the name and you'll see it shows up. Now, if you click the name of the butterfly, as you can see here, I'm just going to open it in another tab so you can see it. It will open the species profile page, which will give you the flight time, some more information about that species, so on and so forth. But if you type anywhere else in that dropdown, it will just select the species as you see here. Okay, now I have some pictures maybe, so you can add them here. Just tap add image, click again, and let's go to butterfly photos. I'm just gonna grab this random one, which of course is not a monarch, but let's just upload it here. Now, you can add a lot of information, a lot of additional information, but again, everything is optional. You can say if the life stage was an egg and caterpillar, a pupae, the one that you see in the photo, that basically this information is about the photo. You can select the data usage. So if this was, for example, a sensitive species or a threatened species, you want to choose a sensitive confidential, which basically that's going to blur the geolocation of that species for any other user. So you don't send 100 of people to trample on the very last butterfly or whatever. So you try to always mark them as sensitive if they are. If we as staff or any other people finds one of these, they can actually send a request to us and we can blur them from our end if that's needed. And if you are like still there, you have more information that you want to put in, you can, for example, tap this down arrow. You can even say how many males there were, how many females there were, etc., etc., and even some field notes like on open-ended question. Okay, but on top of that, maybe I'm not sure if this is a monarch. So if you click on this purple text, every time that you find this purple text, the eButterfly AI, that's actually gonna run our AI algorithm. So quick tip, you can actually drag this square to improve the model accuracy even more. And let's make a prediction. So it is telling me that it is 99.6% sure that it is a silvery blue. Perfect. That's great. So just click on it, use selected suggestion, and if you see, it already substituted my suggestion of a monarch for the actual ID of this. Now, let's just delete this one. That is one way of doing it, just by clicking in add species, and that's going to open a new species card. The other way is just using the AI right away. So just drag an image and drop it here on top of this second button, or click on that second button. And let's just open a new image. Let's say this one. If you see, it opened the AI right away. Again, let's just drag our square around it, make prediction. And this is a Perseus dusky wing. 98% sure that it is a Perseus dusky wing. So we use the use the selected species, and there you go. It already opened a card for that species. And let's say I only saw one, and it already has actually the photo here about that species. Now, if you see, there's a lot of information that you can capture here, but most of it is optional. Even the number that I just put here, 1, it's quote unquote optional. Why? Because if I couldn't count how many Perseus dusky wings I saw, you can always just type an X. And that is a general consensus for, I know there were a lot, but I couldn't count them. So, and that's super common, for example, in tropics, that you're just trying to take a picture of one and already 5 of them flew on top of you. So you just put an X and that's enough. And that's actually useful data for research. Just finally, with any type of survey except incidental, at the bottom of this step 3, you will see this question that you see here that says, submitting a checklist of all butterflies? Yes, no. What does that mean? Basically, just double checking if you're sure that all your effort, that the effort that you're reporting, for example, I spent 10 minutes doing this, if during those 10 minutes, you actually put 100% of your attention in looking at those butterflies. If maybe I was barbecuing or I was with my friends or something, it's not the same. So it's not the same spending 10 minutes doing that or actually paying attention 100%. So just to control for that effort variation, you can tap here, click here, no or yes, and that's it. And we are done. Click finish, and off it goes. Now, I'm not gonna tap finish here because I don't wanna add noise to the database, but that's basically how it works. So let's just go back here. And I'm gonna stop my sharing just to go to the very last part of the presentation, and then we can jump right straight into the Q&A. So let's just go back to share. Where's share? There you go. Share. Perfect. Okay. So just to finalize this, and maybe this is what most people are interested on. So we said that these are the steps in our website. Step 1, where, step 2, how, step 3, what. So what is the difference with mobile? Because we have a mobile app. You just go to your Google Play Store or to the App Store in iOS, type eButterfly, and you'll find our app. You can download it right away. Now, 2 things about this app. This is not meant to be a substitution for the web platform. Actually, intentionally, we made it quite lean, and it doesn't have a lot of features. Why? Because it is meant to be a companion tool for the web platform, something that you can pull on your cell phone without using much data anywhere in the world, without using data, and just using to record your observations. If you want to explore the whole database, if you want to see your live list or any other more advanced thing, you should go to the website. And that is on the sign that we did it like that, just to avoid using a lot of data when maybe you are where no reception is available. So, so what is the difference about the steps 1, 2, 3? Well, basically it's this. So since the app is designed to be used on the field while you are creating the checklist, while you are actually experiencing it. So the very important thing is, what are you looking at? You don't want to spend time entering details or any other thing. You just want to go and start taking a list of the butterflies that you see. So the first thing that you get asked is that, what butterfly did you see? So if you download the app, this is the home screen, the one that you will see. Now, very important, and please take this into account. I think next week, most likely next week, this screen is going to change a little bit, and we're going to have 2 buttons here. The same start checklist, and one that will say start checklist from known location. That means it's going to give you the ability, just as I showed you in web, to go back to existing locations instead of always creating one. This was a design issue that we had when creating the app, that we didn't allow to go back to your recent locations easily. You can do it, but it's a bit difficult. So now this update will allow you to go back to your previous locations. So just keep that in mind. So let's say I'm on the field, so I want to just get started. If you see date, It's already there. Start time is already there. You can change it, but why? You don't need to, because in the end you are on the field doing it. And then it will open this, which is right away this list that you will start filling up. So let's say I find my very first butterfly. Of course, it was a monarch. So you type on search species, tap on it. So let's tap on it and start typing the name of the butterfly that you saw. MONAR. And you will see that this list underneath starts to get refined and just showing you this name, species names that are, sorry, there's a construction or something happening out here and it's a bit loud. Hopefully you guys don't hear it. But anyways, as you start typing, you'll see that list refining to just the species that use those letters. So MONAR is just showing those that share that text string. So once I found the one that I want, for example, in this case, monarch, well, I just go and tap on top of that plus sign. 1, 2, 3. So the more tap that you give, it will start increasing a number like 1, 2, 3. And it's just the number of individuals that you saw for that species. So once you're done, just click on done with search, and it already added the this first record here for your observation. Now, if you tap on this side, on the right side, underneath the little hand, sorry, it is overlapping, I don't know why. If you tap on top of there, actually says taps to submit details, you can enter all of your details for that observation, including a picture. But maybe I don't know what is the actual individual that I saw, and I want to use the AI. So for that is that right part that you see, the one that the little hand is pointing at, which is the AI module. So the AI module, if I tap on it, it will open the AI system where you can either take a picture or upload a file, and it will identify it and create a new row for you, a new row, a new element here with that species that it identified. Now, personally, and I'm being super honest, and it is not because of our app, any app in any platform, either Android or iOS, the native camera is way better than the one from the app. So I don't know about you, but I love having good pictures about my butterflies. So what I do is that I snap the picture from the native camera of my phone. So I actually open the camera app, snap the picture, and then I upload it to the app via this little camera where I can select the file. I don't do it directly from the camera because you lose some resolution, and that is, again, not because of our app. That's the way the iOS and Android works. So just a quick tip. Anyways, so that's the way you can run your AI there. So let's say I only saw these 2 monarchs. So I'm done. Then just click next. And then here is where step 2 and 3 come into place. How did it happen and where did it happen? So how did it happen? Basically, it is all the sampling protocols that I show you in step 2 on the web. If I tap on this first drop down, you will see area survey, traveling survey, point count, time count, all of those. So depending on which one you choose, the fields underneath will change, and you just enter the data that you are being asked for. Again, if you see a red asterisk, it means that it is mandatory. If not, it is optional. Now, these 2 questions at the bottom, the first one is the same that you saw on web. It's just asking you about your effort, if you put all the 100% of your effort here. So yes, no, that's it. And then this question, is this a butterfly house? So this question, and actually it was on web as well, but I skipped it, sorry. It is just asking you if it is in captivity or not, this butterfly, because we've received sometimes observations in Ontario in December of a blue morpho. How come? Well, it was maybe from the Montreal insectarium, for example, in Quebec. So we don't want to pollute the database like that. So we have this little flag telling us if it was from in captivity. So you just click here. So again, you enter time, you answer this sort of questions. If you want to update a species, maybe, oh, I forgot to enter a second species that I saw. If you tap on there, it will go back to the checklist screen, and you can enter more species if needed. And whenever you feel that you are done, just tap next. So that is basically step 2. So where is step 3? Well, step 3, first, it happened right at the beginning, but when you open the app pulled your GPS and knows where you are at. So your location is already registered. But you can also select it manually, tapping on this green pin here. So it will open a map and you can tap on it and you can select your location. Just as we did on step 1 in web, here you can enter the name of your location, so you can go back to it. And third, as I mentioned at the beginning of this section, in 1 week, you're going to have also the ability to go back to your recent locations from the get-go. Okay, so I'm done. I can click on finish, and this gets submitted. So once I submit a checklist from this screen, sorry, you will get sent to this area, which is the checklist list. Now, don't get scared. Lots of people get scared here, like, hey, these are not all my checklists. I see here just a few, but I have 100. Yeah, but those 100 that you have, you submitted them from web. What you see here are only the checklists that you submitted from your phone, because again, this is not a tool to explore data. It's just a tool to upload data to the website. So this is just like a temporary storage, but it is not your live list. If you want to access your live list, you can tap on that green text on top that says view all your checklists online, and it will open a browser sending you to your live list online. Okay, this is just a temporary storage while it gets uploaded. Now, finally, if you submitted a checklist, but you didn't have data, for example, you were outside of reception, the checklist, instead of being sent to this list, will be sent to this other tab that says not submitted. So it's, again, a temporary storage where the checklist will try to re-upload over and over and over again when you get Wi-Fi again, or you can just go and manually tap on it and it will re-upload. So just to keep that in mind. I think that's all for me. So thanks a lot for your attention. I'm super open to questions. So just let me, I'm just gonna remove, allow people to unmute themselves, and feel free to unmute your mics or send some questions in the chat, and I'll be happy to answer them. I see someone, Colleen, is saying, I had trouble with the distance requirement in eButterfly. I couldn't fill that required section out, so missed adding all my butterfly settings in 2024. Colleen, with the little walkthrough that I gave, does that answer your question where the things were maybe not working for you? Feel free to unmute or just reply to the chat. Okay, well, while we wait for her reply, oh, Colleen already muted. Yes. You're unmuted, Colleen, so feel free to. Okay. Well, she typed, I guess. I'm going to share the recording. Yes, I'm going to share the recording. This will go up maybe tomorrow. So we're going to post it on our website and as well in social media. I'm gonna post it. Perfect. Um, any other question? Nope. Good. Okay. I mean, again, if you see my email is here in the chat, I'm just gonna paste it again. So if any questions, uh, if you come up with any questions after we are done today, feel free to shoot me a message. I'm always there, and I'll be happy to hear from you. My email is there, ebutterfly@btecostudies.org. Um, so yeah, thank you so much for your time, and I hope to see all of your observations very soon.